Hey, hold on real quick. Hold on.
Y'all
Pause.
see San Francisco has proposed a CAREN Act. Have you seen this?
Yeah, but I think it's spelled like, is it like CAREN or something
Caution
like that?
against
Yeah.
racially exploitative non-emergencies. Basically, if you call 911 being racist now, it's a crime.
That should have been passed everywhere.
That's good.
That shit.
Kudos.
Yeah. The Karen law. And of course, they're pointing to Amy Cooper is the image that everybody kind of points to. Remember, we talked about her in I think it was episode 34 with the dog, like holding the dog. Come on, lady.
Yeah. First, making a false report on anyone, like no matter like if it's like race related or whatever, making a false report just because like you're wasting time, you're wasting money, you're wasting a bunch of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, move the fuck on. You know? Like, yeah, that should definitely be a crime. That should be a crime federally. That's good. Kudos to San Francisco.
I said, what's next on the docket, man? Nick Cannon, right?
The last actually it wasn't, but we can talk about that. Nick Cannon. That also is something we're getting real topical, real breaking news today. Nick Cannon apologizes for anti-Semitic comments. I feel ashamed.
What he said was,
you know what I think, man? I think anytime you mention Farrakhan's name, they automatically gonna associate that with anti-Semitic, like straight up, because I'm not saying they shouldn't.
What are they reporting that he said?
Mike's about to pull it up, but basically they said he was like talking shit about Jewish people, and because that's what anti-Semitic is pretty much. It's saying that like he was on a show. He was on a show. His show actually that he doesn't own. So that's another thing, we gotta start owning more shit because of this. But yeah, he was on a show, and he had like a guest on who was a part of Public Enemy, but he got kicked out for talking shit about Jewish people. Got his name, but that guy, Griff, yeah, they were interviewing together, and Nick Cannon said what he said, and I didn't find anything wrong with it per se. I don't feel like he was being evil towards a group of people.
He said that black people were the true Hebrews. Were the true Hebrews?
Yeah,
that actually isn't anti-Semitic.
That's not anti-Semitic.
It's not. But once again, he brought up Farrakhan, and Jewish people hate Farrakhan. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's crazy because I remember in the 60s and 70s there would be like Jewish protests outside of like Farrakhan speeches. We're like, yeah, like we want to kill him.
Kill
like,
you. Exactly.
Well, a lot of that is he. Isn't he Muslim?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's religion wars. I'm not
religion
saying
war for sure.
That's what that is, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, Farrakhan did I don't say he talked shit about Jewish people in the past, but he didn't say stuff good about them, if I'm being real with you. But that was he apologized for that, but they still can't get over that shit, you know.
He apologized.
So
I must apologize to my Jewish brothers and sisters for putting them in a painful position. It was never my intention, but I know this whole situation has hurt many people, and together we'll make it right. I've dedicated my daily efforts to continuing conversations to bring the Jewish community and the African American community closer together, embracing our differences and sharing our commonalities. Basically, before that, he said that, the true Hebrews, he said it's never hate speech. You can't be anti-Semitic when we are the Semitic people. We are the same people who they want to be. That's our birthright. We are the true Hebrews. I think the outrage, it's crazy because we're all fighting to say that we should have freedom of speech, but when people speak, we'll also be the quickest to destroy somebody, and that's the danger in the Black Lives Matter.
You know why, bro?
Because there are a lot of different Black Lives Matter movements going on, and it's almost kind of become synonymous.
There's also a Black trans.
There's all kinds of stuff. So I mean, yeah, the notion itself and the message, 100%, Black Lives Matter. But there is a fine line because there are some of these ones that aren't necessarily they're not really working for the Black man, the Black woman. They're not working for the Black people, but more of these other agendas that are veiled under this Black Lives Matter facade. So
it's an umbrella term.
It's you got just if anybody walks away being woke by anything after this, is know that there are different factions of that for sure.
That's facts.
But I think too, like, I don't think this would have happened if like Nick Cannon actually owned, because you say like we have freedom of speech, right? But I feel like we have freedom of speech if we own our own shit. That wouldn't have happened. Him getting fired and getting like, he got fired with the quickness. You know what I mean? Like over this, and it's like, how can somebody get fired with the quickness for bringing up views that weren't really hateful versus like cops being fired with killing people?
I think
because his owner is Jewish.
When they own your shit.
Exactly.
Because his owner is Jewish. I bet.
Yeah. Who owns Viacom? Who owns Viacom? Who owns CBS?
They own all Hollywood. They own everything. That's what Farrakhan was telling us.
It's crazy.
Well, I mean, like,
I mean, you should be able. What I hate is this immediate need and notion to back talk everything you say, and people never care to think about intent. Yeah. And I'm not even just talking about Nick Cannon or Deshaun Jackson. Anybody, any crime, not even crime, like anybody. Anytime somebody steps one foot a little bit out, or people. There's too much responsibility now on the deliverer of the message to make everybody understand what you're trying to say. Now, right. I get it. We have to be responsible with what we say. But at the same time, you've got to understand we're human. We don't word things perfectly. We're consuming things in tweets that are 240 characters now. Social media, little snippets of things. We're not consuming the full story. So people are so quick to say, oh, I got this one little tidbit. You're out of here, guy. And it's like
cancel culture, and I hate it. I hate it, bro. I hate the cancel culture. Like I really do. I was gonna ask you guys a question. Do you feel like what Drew Brees said was worse than what Nick Cannon said?
Was it worse? I mean, I don't feel like we talked about Drew Brees too, and like how we feel like. I mean, I can't speak for everybody. Chance, I think you were saying that we both felt like that kind of got blown over, like a little bit more.
That was blown out of proportion.
He's Drew like, robot, just
he was
speaking without
literally
thinking, right?
being robotic. Yeah, he was speaking without thinking because he was speaking from like terms of what he was told to say back when fucking press conferences and shit like that was going on. You know what I'm saying? With Nick Cannon, like he was just speaking what was on his mind. Now, for the fact that him losing his job or whatever, or being fired from Viacom and shit like that, I mean,
isn't it crazy how
up, but like,
is that all under the same umbrella?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, well, Viacom owns like MTV, BET, everything like that. You know what I'm saying? CBS, Viacom, CBS. Like, I actually have stock in them or whatever. That's how I know that they're a part of CBS. But like, dude, like, okay. Back to the freedom of speech thing. Like, why? How does he lose his job over just saying some shit that no one knows is a fact or not? You know what I'm saying? It wasn't hateful what he said. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like fuck all Jews or anything like that. All he said was,
which is why I don't
like,
anti-Semitic.
It's a fine line between that shit, man. Like that, like it goes to the cancel culture shit. Like it's fucked up that motherfuckers lose like what they're doing, like because of what they say. You know what I'm saying? And like, yeah, people say fucked up shit, and like, but when it's taken out of context, like.
People misword shit all the time. Like that doesn't mean
they do it. People get upset. Nick Cannon didn't say anything wrong.
Right. Exactly.
In my opinion.
Yeah, me too.
He didn't say anything wrong.
Right.
I honestly think people hate Farrakhan.
Yeah, no, Gary, you said it. The reason why he got fired is because Jewish people own that shit. Anytime you bring up any Jews and like Farrakhan, that's like a trigger word for them, Farrakhan. So that's why.
Facebook tried to ban him. I don't even think like Farrakhan's even like allowed on Instagram. Like so, yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny how they just hate that man so much.
It's like him and Alex Jones. They call him like the two conspiracy theorists.
Yo, it's funny because like I don't know when someone like Farrakhan and someone like Alex Jones speak. Sometimes I think like people like really they kind of hate the truth. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like guys like that, they say shit like that, and like it may sound crazy, to us because we're told that it's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like, oh, they're conspiracy theorists, but they're kind of
like they could. They're just speaking their mind.
Yeah.
Like I mean, isn't that what? Like that's our first. You know what I'm saying? Isn't that what we have the right to do? Why do people like? Why do they lose the bag for that shit? You know what I'm saying? That's what's fucked up about it.
Yeah, and once again, like Deshaun Jackson.
What is Deshaun Jackson? What happened with that?
So Deshaun said the same thing that Nick Cannon said, but the only thing is he was annotating from a book that
Farrakhan.
Yeah, but I think Hitler made the comments.
No. So basically, he was quoting from a Farrakhan book. Hitler did make the comments about it.
Yeah,
he put it in his book, and so like people felt like he was being anti-Semitic too, and like he got shitted on by the whole ownership of the Eagles and.
Yeah, he even got.
You know what I mean? Like
supposedly he was disciplined too. I don't know what discipline he had,
but yeah. So there's a lot of shit. But the whole point I'm making is that's another thing. Somebody Jewish probably has their hand in something as far as like owning it. So anytime you bring up Farrakhan, back to my whole point, it's an issue. That was an issue. And Farrakhan's not saying he wants to kill Jewish people. I hate Jewish people. He didn't say none of that, bro. That's what I'm saying. That's why I understand like, how can you be anti-Semitic if you're not saying you want to kill somebody or like fuck them and like they're lesser than. None of that was said like at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and not as that, but like people have to understand the definition of like racism. I mean, that falls under the Semitic umbrella. It's like it doesn't make sense. It's like I don't get how any of that was hate speech in a sense. There's nothing like calling them out of their name or just like Jockey said, lesser than. There was nothing belittling anybody. Right. It was more of just like, hey, like. I love my people, and this is like our history.
I'll tell you guys why. I'll tell you guys why. It's because of the atrocities of the Holocaust. Because that happened in modern time, and it was recorded. We saw it. You know what I'm saying? That it was that type of shit. Like the people of Jewish faith or whatever, 6 million of them were eradicated for no fucking reason, just for being
that was
Jewish.
Horrible.
You know what I'm saying? Whether it was whether it's religious or ethnic, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's racist.
But because it was so modern, is why it's like it happened. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, oh well, fuck, that's fucked up that it happened to those people. Like it can't, we can't say. Or even tiptoe that line for that, you know what I'm saying? Whether how the the Nick Cannon shit, you know what I'm saying? Like how he's saying he was just speaking of the original Hebrews. He didn't say anything Jewish people aren't Hebrews, or all he said was black people are the original Hebrews or whatever. With that, but that affects them because you can't say anything bad about Jewish people because of the Holocaust. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's because they were killed and we saw it, for no reason. We saw that shit. That's why. But it happens every day, and people act like they don't see it for other groups of people. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's black people, whether it's fucking undocumented immigrants, whether it's black people in South Africa, apartheid shit like that. You know what I'm saying? This shit goes on all around the fucking world. Right. But it just wasn't to the effect of we have it on record that 6 million people were killed. You know what I'm saying? In a 5-year period. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. How do you feel about
it? That's why.
Mike. How do you feel about this stuff that's happening?
No, I mean, I already said my piece. I think people are too quick to judge. People don't look at the intent. What you're trying to say,
or not even that. Yeah, just like you said, literally the message. If you just look at if you look at what he said, nothing about it was anti-Semitic. So I'm just mind blown.
And going to that, it's kind of what shit is on track for people of like say like the black community or the LGBT community, like if you say anything, you know, like remotely, well, it doesn't happen for these people, you know what I'm saying, like for these groups. But if you say anything remotely, you know, like disregarding or something insensitive about those groups of people, like you know, it gets brung up. But then there's all type of, you know, rhetoric like okay, well, you know, well, oh, well, that person was a criminal, or they, you know, did this and they did that. You know, it's never anything like, oh, there's just like some wall up and you just shouldn't say that because, you know, and like it I don't know, man. It's fucking, it's just weird like how this shit is happening. And like real talk, this is kind of a fucked up topic. I really don't even want to talk about this shit anymore.